Good morning, dear students. So, because we have already done with osteology, now we are moving to the soft parts of the lower limb. So, the very first lecture of the lower limb after osteology is the front of the thigh. So, in the front of the thigh, we will go stepwise. We will see like what is it made up of. Like you have to always see in the angle of dissection, like as you just cut this and reflect and see the structures one by one. So, we have skin first, then we have superficial fascia, then we will have deep fascia, then we will have muscles. Okay, so we are going to elaborate on these things. So to start with, first of all, as you can see in this cadaver, okay, you can see this is the anterior abdominal wall. We are finding the external genitalia, and this is the thigh region, right? This is the knee joint extending from the hip to the knee. Whatever we have is the thigh region. So now today we are going to discuss the front of the thigh. So the skin of the thigh is in the region around the pubic symphysis. This point is pubic symphysis. So whatever we have around this pubic symphysis, this area will have lot of hair. Okay, then once you reflect the skin, I'll show you in the cadaver. First, see the we have given incision almost coming from the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic symphysis. You gave an incision. You gave one midline incision as well, like something like this midline incision. This incision went like this, and this incision went like this, and we have reflected the skin like two flaps. Once you reflect the skin like two flaps, right side one, left side one, just below the skin, lot of fat is seen, which is nothing but one of the component of superficial fascia. Okay. Now, as you just go deeper, if you scrape off this fat, you are finding whitish shiny layer that is nothing but the deep fascia. So, just below the skin, we have superficial fascia and also we have deep fascia. So, the superficial fascia, now I have shown this picture just to make you understand. This is anterior superior iliac spine, what we have seen with hip bone. This is pubic symphysis region extending from the anterior superior iliac spine to the pubic symphysis. We have inguinal ligament, if you remember. Okay, one of the attachments what we have seen with anterior superior iliac spine, right? Now, so right above the pubic symphysis, this is anterior abdominal wall. That means this is abdomen. Below the abdomen, we have thigh region. Why I'm insisting so much? Because whatever fascia we see in the abdomen, the same fascia is actually sweeping downwards to enter into the front of the thigh. Okay, so that's what. So the superficial fascia, like basically if we have started with abdomen, there also we will see two layers. Like as you cut open the skin of abdomen, lot of fat is seen, that is the superficial fatty layer, and below this you will find membrane like layer, that is nothing but the deep membranous layer, right? So now even in the thigh region we have the same things, like we have superficial fatty layer and then we have deep membranous layer as the components of superficial fascia. So the membranous layer is loosely attached to the deep fascia of the thigh except near the inguinal ligament. We know this is the inguinal ligament. Okay, then in the thigh, actually, like membranous layer is loosely attached everywhere except in the inguinal. That means only in the inguinal ligament region the membranous layer is very tightly attached. So it has like one medical reason. Suppose if there is any rupture of urethra, this is urinary bladder area. Suppose if urethra ruptures, so because here there is tight attachment of this layer, and along with the underlying fasciolata which I am going to discuss, you will see if the urethra is ruptured, the urine will not be able to enter into the thigh region because of this tight attachment of membranous layer along the inguinal ligament. Okay, so in the thigh it is firmly attached along this horizontal line. So this line of firm attachment is actually called as Holden's line. Okay, Holden's line, which is basically actually starting a little lateral to the pubic tubercle. If you remember, this point is the pubic tubercle. Correspondingly, this side it is this. Okay, and it is extending laterally for about 8 centimeters. Okay, that is the Holden's line, along which the membranous layer is tightly attached to the inguinal ligament. Okay, well. So now you have reflected the skin. Below the skin, you have seen superficial fascia, below which we have seen the deep fascia. Now see here, this is anterior superior iliac spine, we know, and this is pubic symphysis. And this green ligament is nothing but the inguinal ligament. Okay. Now we know along the inguinal ligament we have the membranous layer tightly attached. Okay, and this line just below this you have finding this line of attachment is actually Holden's line. So suppose if at this point if urethra is ruptured, because Holden's line is tightly attached, you will see the urine will not be able to extravasate in the thigh region. Okay, then the superficial area into which urine may pass when urethra is injured. This area is the possible area, but because of this Holden's line, it is well protected. Okay. Then, so same point is given when urethra is ruptured in this perineum region. External genitalia region is nothing but perineum. Urine can pass up into the anterior abdominal wall like this because it's a continuous passage. Okay, like where it can enter in the upper part of the thigh. However, this firm attachment of the membranous layer of the superficial fascia to the deep fascia along Holden's line will prevent the urine passing, descending down into the thigh beyond this Holden's line. That means extent of urine, it can fill up these pockets only at the maximum. And because this line is quite firmly attached, you will not see the urine extravasating into the front of the thigh. Okay, that is the clinical aspect. Now, the superficial fascia contains many structures. That means if I take you to the same picture again, see this is right completely superficial fascia. So along the superficial fascia, if you see, you are finding like bluish lines. These are nothing but cutaneous veins. Certain small nerves also will be encountered while doing dissection. You are finding this vein is seen, which is little more clear over here. That is actually great saphenous vein, which is found within the superficial fascia. Okay, then see here the superficial fascia, whatever we are going to encounter in dissection, all these things are actually listed here. So we are finding, we are going to see cutaneous nerves. Okay, we are also going to see cutaneous arteries. We are able to see a great longest vein of our body, that is the great saphenous vein, and these are its tributaries. Okay, apart from that, you are finding gray colored round nodes which are shown here for our convenience, a different color. Those are superficial inguinal group of lymph nodes. So these are the list of contents which we come across in the superficial fascia. Now, what are the various cutaneous nerves which we encounter during dissection? Anyhow, the distribution of these cutaneous nerves we are going to discuss in detail when we do the uh, plexuses. Like we have lumbar plexus and also sacral plexus coming up in the lower limb region, as you have studied brachial plexus in upper limb, right? So here only we see the terminal branches coming from the like lumbar plexus and supplying the front of the thigh. Now let us see what are the various nerves you see. See, the first nerve you are finding here is the ilioinguinal nerve. Root value is L1. Okay, don't worry much about these nerves at this moment. You are going to discuss in detail when we do the lumbar plexus. Now, we have this femoral branch of this genitofemoral nerve, this one. Okay, this also will be seen while we are doing dissection in the superficial fascia itself. The root value is L1, L2. Then we have, this is the, I see the position of this nerve, it is lateral. That means away from midline. That's how it is named as lateral cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Root value is L2, L3. Of course, it will be supplying the lateral aspect of the thigh region. No, this is right very much near to the midline. You call it as medial cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Okay, and in between them we have intermediate cutaneous nerve of the thigh. Okay, and just of course saphenous nerve is not shown. Like below this, knee joint, you will see there will be one longest cutaneous nerve coming from femoral nerve. You call it as saphenous nerve. Don't worry, these names will be very clearly like explained for you when we are doing lumbar plexus with very interesting things. Okay, then once you see various nerves in the front of the thigh in superficial fascia, we also see cutaneous arteries. So can you see three red lines over here? These three red lines are nothing but branches of femoral artery. Actually, femoral artery will have three superficial branches and three deep branches. Now we are still with the superficial branches. That's the reason you have the names, all are named as superficial. So superficial external pudendal is towards external genitalia, this blood vessel goes. Superficial epigastric, which moves towards anterior abdominal wall. Superficial circumflex iliac. Circumflex, I told you when I was discussing axillary artery, the one which goes behind and winds around some structure, you use the word circumflex, right? So this is superficial circumflex iliac artery. So all three are superficial branches of femoral artery, which you will be seeing in front of the thigh as we move deeper. Okay, so the various nerves, what we see, lymph nodes, we see superficial branches of femoral artery, we see tributaries of great saphenous vein. Along with great saphenous vein, we see in the front of the thigh within superficial fascia. No, because we are, of course, venous drainage of lower limb itself is a separate lecture for us, nothing to worry. But because within the superficial fascia of the front of the thigh, we come across this vein, I have put few points pertaining to this area. Okay. So this is the great saphenous vein, what you are seeing in the figure. So this is the largest and longest superficial vein of the lower limb. The meaning of saphenous means it is easily seen. You can see through the skin, even in your body, if you try to see. Actually, it starts from the medial aspect of the big toe, great toe, and it moves all along the medial aspect of the leg, and then it comes to lie along the medial aspect of the thigh. Okay. So in the thigh, it is inclining forwards to reach one of the opening in the like the fascia of the thigh, that is the fascia lata, will show this oval opening, which is actually called as saphenous opening. Okay, in the deep fascia, there is an opening called as saphenous opening. Through saphenous opening, the great saphenous vein is passing through this, and it is opening into the femoral vein. We are going to discuss this much in detail, exclusively venous drainage of lower limb. It's only one point to be discussed here. Okay, so now see, great saphenous vein is passing through this saphenous opening. The saphenous opening will have a fascia which is like a sieve. Okay, so see what we usually use to, which like just filter the floor in our kitchens. Okay, that is sieve, porous. Okay, that is the meaning. So this sieve-like area is named as cribriform fascia. Cribriform in the sense the area which has lot of holes, pores. Okay, so that is actually the meaning of cribriform fascia. That means saphenous opening has a covering which has lot of holes, and through the big hole you will see great saphenous vein piercing through the saphenous opening to open into the femoral vein. Femoral vein is deep vein, whereas great saphenous vein is superficial vein. You just can correspond like cephalic and basilic veins. I have named them as superficial veins when we were doing upper limb, and radial vein, ulnar vein, axillary vein, we have named it as deep veins, right? Okay. Apart from these superficial veins, just a minute, before that you see the corresponding names of the blood vessels what we have studied. They are usually used for the veins also. You have superficial iliac, circumflex iliac vein, and superficial epigastric vein, and superficial external pudendal vein. All of them are draining into great saphenous vein. Okay, that means here the word vessels is used. Always we use the word vessel to represent both artery and vein together. Hope you know that. Okay, now coming to superficial inguinal lymph nodes. Again, lymphatic drainage itself will be discussed as a separate topic, because we see in the superficial fascia. I have elaborated few points, right? Okay, like you have seen in axilla, a lot of lymph nodes. Similarly, even in this region, like in the inguinal region, the groin region, we have lot of so many lymph nodes are there, which are arranged in the form of letter T, our Telangana state T. Okay, so these are variable in their number and size, and their arrangement is T-shaped. So there begin a lower vertical group, this becomes the vertical group, and this is upper horizontal group. So whatever has been shown in gray color, round nodes, these are nothing but vertical group of lymph nodes, lower vertical group of lymph nodes draining most of the lymph from the lower limb. Then upper lateral group drains lymph from below umbilical region of anterior abdominal wall and also gluteal region. This becomes upper medial group, drains lymph from the external genital organs, including terminal ends of urethra, anal canal, and vagina. Now, once we are done with superficial fascia, now we are moving to deep fascia. So, deep fascia of the thigh is actually also called as fascia lata. Fascia lata is very important topic. All are actually important small short notes for what we are studying in the front of the thigh. So, this fascia lata is tough, as you can see here. This is all fascia lata. Tough fibrous sheath that envelops the whole of the thigh like a sleeve. If you just see the extent, like superior extent of fascia lata begins almost from this pubic symphysis, pubic tubercle is attached along the inguinal ligament. Then it goes around the iliac crest. Behind it is getting attached to the sacrum. Okay. Then sacrotuberous ligament and the ischial tuberosity to come back at the pubic symphysis. That means whole of the thigh is covered by this fascia lata. Like we have sleeves for our hands, right? So similarly, like such a type of sleeve is enclosing the thigh, which is fascia lata. So this is of course the superior attachment. As you go down inferiorly, it is attached all along the knee, around the knee joint, you will see. Now see here, this is the fascia lata. Once you are reflecting the superficial fascia, now you have come across this deep fascia. So the deep fascia of the thigh has been named as fascia lata. Superiorly, I told you it is attached along the pubic symphysis, pubic tubercle, inguinal ligament, anterior superior iliac spine, iliac crest, sacrum, sacrotuberous ligament, ischial tuberosity back to the pubic symphysis. That is superior attachment all around the thigh like a sleeve. Lower down, it is getting attached along the sides of the femur and tibia bones. That means almost around the knee joint. Okay. Apart from this, the deep fascia will have certain modifications. We will see that. Okay. So within this front of the thigh, we also come across certain bursae. Bursae, we know these are nothing but the extensions of the synovial membrane, which are filled with synovial fluid in order to give the lubrication to the points where we have lot of friction. Okay. So just below the skin, we have certain bursae. So we have subcutaneous bursae just above the patella. You call it as prepatellar bursa. This is patella bone, above which you have prepatellar bursa. Okay, below this you have this like subcutaneous infrapatellar bursa. This one, just below the skin and below the patella bone, you have subcutaneous infrapatellar bursa. So these two are relatively, you can see they are superficial, prepatellar and subcutaneous infrapatellar. So deep bursae, like they are little deeper. So we have above patella, we have suprapatellar, and below you have deep infrapatellar bursa. Okay, then as I told you, fascia lata, that is the deep fascia of the thigh, has again lot many modifications which are equally important. Fascia lata itself can come as a 5 marks question, very important. So it has a lateral thickening. See, this is the lateral view. As you are seeing, this is the gluteal region, right? This is the side view of the thigh. Here you are finding there is thickening of deep fascia of the thigh, which is called as iliotibial tract. Two muscles, they get inserted into this iliotibial tract. I'll show you one more picture also later. The name of one muscle is tensor fascia lata and the other muscle is gluteus maximus. These two muscles belong to gluteal region. The insertion of these two muscles is taking place in the thickened tract on the lateral aspect of the thigh, which is the modification of deep fascia of the thigh, which you call as fascia lata. Apart from that, you will also see the saphenous opening. In the previous picture, saphenous opening, you can see this is, even fascia lata is more clearly visible here. This lateral thickening of iliotibial tract and tensor fascia lata, gluteus maximus is also very well visible in this picture, as it is close-up view. This fascia lata, there you are finding an oval opening. This oval opening is nothing but saphenous opening. It has been named as saphenous opening because it gives passage to our longest vein of our body, that is great saphenous vein. Passes through this great saphenous opening to open into which vein? I said it opens into femoral vein. Okay, so these are the modifications of the fascia lata. Okay, so saphenous opening is pierced by long saphenous vein, And of course, the three cutaneous arteries, which are the branches of femoral artery. Okay. Then you know iliotibial tract already. Then we have intermuscular septa. Suppose this whole thing is fascia lata. This is the transverse section of thigh. Okay, we know inside the thigh we have femur bone, and if you remember, behind we have linea aspera. Okay, which has medial lip and lateral lip, right? So from there you will see from medial lip we have medial intermuscular septum. From lateral lip we have lateral intermuscular septum. Behind we have posterior intermuscular septum. So between these three intermuscular septa, we have muscles of the thigh like arranged in three compartments. In front of the medial and lateral intermuscular septa, what you see in front is the anterior compartment. Between the medial and posterior septa, we have medial compartment, and between the lateral and posterior intermuscular septa, we have posterior compartment of the thigh. Okay, so that means we have anterior compartment, medial compartment, and lateral compartment. So these three compartments are there, and if you observe, we do not have any lateral compartment muscles. That's the reason in the lateral compartment of the thigh, you will see the deep fascia of the thigh is thickened to form iliotibial tract. And of course, this point will be repeated many times as we proceed with the further lectures. Anterior compartment of the thigh, all muscles are supplied by femoral nerve. Medial compartment, all muscles are supplied by obturator nerve. Posterior compartment, all muscles are supplied by sciatic nerve. Now see here, see now the dissection is going on. You can see skin has been reflected. Below this we have so much of fat, that is the superficial fascia where we have the fatty layer, membranous layer. If you reflect this membranous layer, the whitish sheet which is enclosing the thigh like a sleeve is nothing but the deep fascia, nothing but the fascia lata. The fascia lata will have one saphenous opening, okay, through which you will see the great saphenous vein will be moving and opening to through passing through saphenous opening to enter into the femoral vein. So this iliotibial tract is nothing but the thickening of deep fascia seen on the lateral aspect, right? See, anteriorly it is, inferiorly it is attached to lateral lateral condyle of tibia. I told you this word Gerdy's tubercle when we were doing tibia bone as well. Okay. Superiorly, you can see iliotibial tract is receiving insertion of two muscles, but that is tensor fascia lata and gluteus maximus. Both are the muscles of gluteal region. Okay. See, this is the iliotibial tract, which you can see here. It has been just pulled, and you can see it is held between two fingers. Okay, this is the thickening of deep fascia on the lateral aspect of the thigh. Okay, then the tensor fascia lata is this muscle. Okay, I told you like the fascia lata has like the third modification we have is intermuscular septae. We already know this is medial, lateral, and posterior. And the compartments are anterior compartment, femoral nerve, medial compartment, obturator nerve, posterior compartment, sciatic nerve. Okay. Then, and muscles of the front of the thigh, again I will take the help of one more lecture with the help of good pictures to make you understand what are the various muscles we have. We have sartorius, we have quadriceps femoris, that means four muscles together, they are called as quadriceps femoris, rectus femoris, vasetus lateralis, medialis, and intermedius. We have articularis genu, this you have studied when you were doing femur bone, and also the hip bone. All these muscles have you have come across these names, right? As sartorius we came across when we were doing hip bone coming from anterior superior iliac spine. Rectus femoris also we have seen it is coming from the anterior inferior iliac spine. And of course, like vasetus lateralis, medialis, intermedius, they all come from the femur. Only thing is you should be thorough with osteology of hip bone and femur. Automatically you will be able to make out the muscles origin insertion very clearly. And what is the nerve supply of the front of the thigh? Just now I told you it is femoral nerve everywhere. If you see, nerve supply of all these muscles is femoral nerve. Now let us see diagrammatically what are the various muscles we see in the front. Once you reflect skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, Once you clear all the fascia, you will be able to see the muscles, right? See, this is the muscle which is called as talar muscle also, because it is the muscle which is usually used by tailor during the performance of the stitching movements. Okay, and the name of this muscle is sartorius. Sartor means tailor. Like saphenous is easily seen, sartor means tailor. Okay, and then you have, this is rectus femoris, this is vasetus medialis, this is vasetus lateralis. If you just cut this rectus femoris and lift it below rectus femoris, we will see vasetus intermedius. So these four muscles together, that means vasetus medialis, rectus femoris, vasetus intermedius, and vasetus lateralis together, you call them as quadriceps femoris. Quadri means four, ceps means it has four heads, and finally they form ligamentum patellae, which gets attached to the patella. So that means it comes and gets attached to the tibial tuberosity, ligamentum patella. Okay, so these are our intermuscular septa, and this is our front of the thigh, and you can see various muscles. Okay, I told you below rectus femoris we have vasetus intermedius. This is vasetus medialis, this is vasetus lateralis, right? Okay. Now, in order to check if the quadriceps femoris muscles are working properly or not, we generally flex at the knee, and we will just try to just hold these muscles under our right hand and check the strength of the muscles. Okay, we're just doing the flexion and extension. Okay, this is how we check for the quadriceps femoris muscle. And usually anterolateral region of the thigh is usually chosen sometimes to give intramuscular injections. Certain facts I want you to remember: sartorius is the longest muscle of the body, saphenous is the longest, saphenous nerve is the longest cutaneous nerve, and of course, great saphenous vein is the largest vein, of course. The insertion of vasetus medialis is extending to the lower level of patella than the vasetus lateralis to stabilize the patella bone. Okay, apart from these, actually, I would like to show, as I told you, mm, few more things from this point as well. See, these are the cutaneous nerves. So we will discuss the muscles in detail as well. So we have in the front of the thigh, of course, pectineus. We are going to study when we are doing the femoral triangle as the next lecture. So the other muscles we see is sartorius. We have quadriceps femoris, that is vasetus medialis, lateralis, and intermedius. So pectineus muscle is, if you remember, we had pectineal line when we were doing the hip bone. So pectineus comes from the pectineal line of the superior ramus of the pubis. Okay. Insertion lower end of the linea aspera of femur. Action of pectineus flexes and also adducts the thigh at the hip joint. Nerve supply, all front compartment. You remember, it is femoral nerve. Okay. Then actually, pectineus receives one more twig, that is from the obturator nerve, which is the nerve of medial compartment. Whenever muscle receives nerve supply from two different nerves, it's called as hybrid muscle. Okay, so pectineus is one of the hybrid muscle. Then next you have sartorius. Sartorius, I told you, it starts from anterior superior iliac spine. Okay, and then it gets inserted where tibia bone also be studied, upper part of the medial surface of the shaft of the tibia, like this. Okay, so action, I told you, it is talar muscle. That means it is bringing about flexion, abduction, and lateral rotation through hip joint. Okay, and also flexes and medially rotates the leg at knee joint. This is the active movement which is used by tailor while stitching clothes. That's why the muscle name has been named as sartorius. Nerve supply is again femoral nerve, root value L2L3. Quadriceps femoris. Now see, this is front of the thigh. We know this is rectus femoris, this is vasetus medialis, lateralis. If you lift this rectus femoris, you will see vasetus intermedius. Okay, all muscles have been shown separately: vasetus medialis, vasetus intermedius, vasetus lateralis. Okay, and that is, so all these muscles, they are getting inserted into the patella bone. Okay, Then now, if you just observe rectus femoris, it is bipinnate type of muscle, as you can see from this picture. So it has straight head and reflected head, what we have studied when we were doing hip bone. Straight head is coming from anterior inferior iliac spine. Reflected head is coming from ilium just above the acetabulum. Okay, insertion. So common quadriceps tendon then into the tibial tuberosity via patellar ligament, that is ligamentum patellae. Action of this muscle by rectus femoris, you see extension of leg at the knee joint and also flexes thigh at hip joint. Okay, nerve supply femoral nerve. All front of the thigh muscles, they are supplied by femoral nerve only. This is vastus lateralis, origin upper part of the intertrochanteric line, then root of the greater trochanter, lateral lip of the linea aspera. Insertion, common quadriceps tendon, then via tibial tuberosity, uh, via patellar ligament. Extension of leg is the action at the knee joint. Nerve supply, branches of femoral nerve. Then we have vastus medialis, lower part of the intertrochanteric line of the femur, spiral line, then medial lip of the linea aspera, then upper part of the medial supracondylar line. Insertion, same thing everywhere, common quadriceps tendon, then this is the tibial tuberosity via ligamentum patellae, nothing but patellar ligament. Action, extension of leg at knee joint and stabilizes patella. Nerve supply, branches of femoral nerve. Coming to vastus intermedius, most of you will pronounce it as vastus intermedialis. I'm correcting now itself. Please do not pronounce it as intermedialis. It is not intermedialis. It is vastus intermedius. Okay. So origin, anterior and lateral surfaces of femoral shaft. Insertion is common quadriceps tendon into the patella and tibial tuberosity via patellar ligament. Action, extension of leg at knee joint, nerve supply, branches of femoral nerve. Now, if you observe, this is the knee joint area and this is our quadriceps femoris muscles. Vastus medialis, rectus femoris, below which we have vastus intermedius. This is vastus lateralis. All of them are forming the sesamoid bone. If you remember, sesamoid bone is a bone which is developed in the tendon, and patella is the sesamoid bone developed in the tendon of quadriceps femoris. Finally, you can see it is forming the ligamentum patellae or patellar ligament, which is getting attached to the tibial tuberosity. Okay, so femoral triangle is anyhow another class followed by my topic. Okay, hope you understood. I would like to take you to a small part of dissection also. Anyhow, we are going to share dissection videos, nothing to worry. But continuously, if I show you something, you may remember more better. That's my intention. If you just observe this, this is the cadaver where you are seeing anterior abdominal wall, abdomen. Okay, this is the external genitalia region, male cadaver. Then you can see the thigh region. I told you we are going to take the incision from anterior superior iliac spine along the inguinal region to the pubic tubercle. This incision and one more incision you will give along the midline. Then just remove the skin like two flaps. Okay. Then so once you just see how it is being cut, okay, lot of fat will be there. So as you keep on cutting, see the skin is being reflected here. Okay, so because the body has a lot of fat, see this is all fat below skin. That is nothing but superficial fatty layer. Lot of fat is visible over here once you reflect the skin. Okay. So within this you will have cutaneous nerves, cutaneous vessels, inguinal group of lymph nodes. Okay, and also great saphenous vein. So this is all which is being scraped and cut is nothing but superficial fascia where we have superficial fatty layer. Once you clear this fat, you will see below this fat, see this is the vein. Can you observe this? Yeah. And this is on medial side, external genitalia is seen. So this is great saphenous vein which is being exposed. Okay, once you, that means within the superficial fascia, you will see this is our great saphenous vein. Okay, so fat is being cleared, lot of fat is there. It all depends upon the cadaver, whether it is hefty body or whether it is lean body. Usually lean bodies we will not get any fat immediately below the skin. We will see directly the very thin fatty layer with membranous layer. But here lot of fat, you can see it's being collected in the tray. So much fat is there. Okay, that is. So here, see this vein also you are able to see which is being cleared now. This vein, what is the name of this vein on the medial side? Great saphenous vein. Okay, so once you clear the fat, superficial fatty layer, and this becomes the deep membranous layer below which you will have fascia lata, and this is our great saphenous vein. This great saphenous vein will be entering into the saphenous opening to enter into the femoral vein. Okay, so that's what. mm, so small thin structures you will see will be cutaneous nerves. Okay, the superficial fascia is being exposed. Mm, Once we are done with this, med vibes is one which you can also look for yourself. Med vibes dissection. And then apart from this, now once you have removed the skin, now let us see what we see further. See, the skin has been reflected. Okay, whole fat has been cleared. Okay, the same dissection you are seeing, this is part 2. Okay, the fascia has been cleared. Whatever fascia you are finding now, that is the deep. Once superficial fascia is cleared, the deeper plane you will find deep fascia. So till now, whatever is being cleared is superficial fascia only. Lot of fat is coming out, and it's being cleared. Okay, that is. So still lot of fat is there. Okay, just follow the midwives video. Anyhow, we will be sharing our own videos as we have shared for upper limb, nothing to worry. So once you clear this fat, deeper aspect you are finding, there is a sheet of fascia that is nothing but the deep fascia. Okay, which covers all the muscles like sleeve. Okay, this is the deep fascia, which we can see very clearly. This one is deep fascia. Okay, and the muscles have been exposed below deep fascia. These are the various muscles you are seeing. Okay, this is our great saphenous vein, very clear now. Okay, sartorius muscle is being shown. Okay, the femoral triangle is not yet taught for you. You would please ignore at the moment. We will learn later. So medial to sartorius, whatever triangle-like region you see, you call it is actually femoral triangle. Okay, femoral nerve, femoral artery, femoral vein, you have come across in the femoral triangle only. For now, you can just ignore. Okay, nothing to worry at all. And just concentrate now. What is the name of this muscle now which is being lifted and shown? It has like two heads, no? So this is nothing but rectus femoris, bipinnate type of muscle I said, right? Okay. From the medial aspect, you see because external genitalia is this side, you this is vastus medialis. Just follow my arrow. This is vastus medialis. Okay. The one which is being lifted is vastus intermedius. Yeah. Now you can see more clearly. Yeah, you can see. Yeah, the one which is lifted is rectus femoris. The one which is on lateral side is vastus lateralis. Okay. The one which is on medial side is vastus medialis. Okay, this side is vastus. Follow my arrow. Medialis. rectus femoris, vasetus lateralis. If you cut this rectus femoris, below this you will see vasetus intermedius. It's being shown, you can see this one. Your fat is being removed and white shiny type of muscle you are finding there. Underneath that, that is nothing but vasetus intermedius. So rectus femoris, vasetus medialis, vasetus lateralis, below rectus femoris. This is vasetus lateralis. This is rectus femoris, bipinnate muscle. This is vasetus medialis. Below rectus femoris, we have vasetus intermedius. Here, the boy is trying hard to just pull it up to show the underlying muscle. Okay, that's yeah, it's being shown here. Okay, that is the vasetus intermedius. Okay, and of course the femoral triangle and all will be discussed later. Nothing to worry. Okay, so I hope you understood this. So these are the like overall femoral region front of the thigh. We have finished successfully. Just pause the video, try to read again and try to understand right from the day one of your lower limb so that you don't find it difficult and you find it interesting. Okay, wish you all good luck. Thank you.